I choose to see my brother's sinlessness. I choose to see my brother's sinlessness. Forgiveness is a choice. Forgiveness is a choice. I never see my brother as he is, for that is far beyond perception. What I see in him is merely what I wish to see, because it stands for what I want to be, the truth. It is to this alone that I respond, this that I respond. However much I seem to be impelled by outside happenings, I choose to see what I would look upon, and this I see, and this I see, and only this, and only this. I choose to see what I would look upon, and this I see, and only this. My brother's sinlessness shows me what I would look upon. My brother's sinlessness shows me that I would look upon my own. My brother's sinlessness shows me that I would look upon my own. And I will see it, having chosen to behold my brother, having chosen to behold my brother in its holy light. I choose to see my brother's sinlessness. I choose to see my brother's sinlessness. What could restore your memory to me, except to see my brother's sinlessness, my brother's sinlessness. His holiness reminds me that he was created one with me. He was created one with me, and like myself, in him I find myself, in him I find myself. And in your Son I find the memory of you as well. In him I find myself, and in your Son I find the memory of you as well. I choose to see my brother's sinlessness. 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 Well, thank you all so much for joining me in studying A Course in Miracles. We're reading from the Foundation for Inner Peace version of A Course in Miracles. And their credits are in the description below. You can also follow along in our lesson out of the original edition. What we read at the end, Psychotherapy, Purpose, Process, and Practice, you won't be able to find in the original edition. It wasn't in that edition. But you can read it on jcim.net. If you don't have a book and you want to follow along, and you can go to acim.org. Okay, for the version we're reading, which will have our reading here in a moment. But let's look at our lesson for today. I'm Forgiveness Willie, teaching forgiveness from the Ozarks, right here at my home place in front of a patch of bamboo. And I appreciate you being here. Yesterday was Thanksgiving for me, and I thanked you many times, I think. But I do like to really tell you how much I appreciate you joining me. And let's invite some other folks to join up with us. I'm trying to do this to where it makes it the easy way to get through A Course in Miracles. It doesn't take much effort. If you listen along with me, and particularly if you follow along in your reading, and then do your, spend a half hour with me and then a half hour in the silence every day, 15 minutes in the morning maybe, 15 minutes in the evening, you're good. I mean, you want to do your hourly remembrance too throughout the day. You don't have to stop to do it. But today, tell yourself every hour, I choose to see my brother's sinlessness. And look what he says, forgiveness is a choice. To see your brother's sinlessness is a choice. Forgiveness is a choice. I never see my brother as he is, for that is far beyond perception. What I see in him is merely what I wish to see, because it stands for what I want to be the truth. It is to this alone that I respond, however much I seem to be impelled by outside happenings. I choose to see what I would look upon, and this I see, and only this. My brother's sinlessness shows me that I would look upon my own, and I will see it, having chosen to behold my brother in its holy light. What could restore your memory to me except to see my brother's sinlessness? Wow, that should motivate you. You want to remember God? Well, then see your brother as holy, as God, as sinless. What could restore your memory to me except to see my brother's sinlessness? His holiness reminds me he was created one with me, and like myself. In him I find myself, and in your Son I find the memory of you as well. Okay, well, that should motivate you to practice forgiveness. See your brother's sinlessness so you can remember yourself and remember God. What is the ego? Back a couple pages, number 12. The ego is idolatry, the sign of limited and separated self, born in a body, doomed to suffer and end its life in death. It is the will that sees the will of God as enemy and takes a form in which it is denied. The ego is the proof that strength is weak and love is fearful, life is really death, and what opposes God alone is true. The ego is insane. In fear, it stands beyond the everywhere. How can you stand beyond the everywhere? Apart from all, how can you be apart from all? In separation from the infinite. In its insanity, it thinks it has become a victor over God himself. And in its terrible autonomy, it sees the will of God has been destroyed. It dreams of punishment and trembles at the figures in its dreams, its enemies who seek to murder it before it can ensure its safety by attacking them. The Son of God is egoless. What can he know of madness and the death of God when he abides in him? What can he know of sorrow and of suffering when he lives in eternal joy? What can he know of fear and punishment, of sin and guilt, of hatred and attack, when all there is surrounding him is everlasting peace, forever conflict-free and undisturbed, in deepest silence and tranquility? To know reality is not to see the ego and its thoughts, its works, its acts, its laws, and its beliefs, its dreams, its hopes, its plans for its salvation, and the cost belief in it entails. In suffering, the price for faith in it is so immense that crucifixion of the Son of God is offered daily at its darkened shrine, and blood must flow before the altar where its sickly followers prepare to die. Yet will one lily of forgiveness change the darkness into light. The altar to illusion, the altar to illusions, to the shrine of life itself. And peace will be restored forever to the holy minds which God created as his Son, his dwelling place, his joy, his love, completely his, and completely one with him. Completely his, completely one with him. Yet will one lily of forgiveness change the darkness into light. The altar to illusions, to the shrine of life itself. And peace will be restored forever to the holy minds which God created as his Son, his dwelling place, his joy, his love, completely his, completely one with him. I just want to read that last little portion twice. Okay, let's go back and look in Psychotherapy, Purpose, Process, and Practice. If you have the complete volume, it'll be the next to last supplement. The last supplement will be the Song of Prayer, which we'll do it this year also. We'll conclude the year with these two mainly. The Process of Psychotherapy, number 2, Introduction. We're going to read the introduction and number 1, the limits on psychotherapy. So, introduction to the process of psychotherapy. And be sure, let me stop before I read it and remind you. I choose to see my brother's sinlessness today. Well, this takes us home. This takes us to God. It allows us to begin to remember who we are and how we're one with our Creator. Love. The Process of Psychotherapy, Introduction. Psychotherapy is a process that changes the view of the self. At best, this new self is a more beneficent self-concept, but psychotherapy can hardly be expected to establish reality. That is not its function. If it can make way for reality, it has achieved its ultimate success. Its whole function in the end is to help the patient deal with one fundamental error, the belief that anger brings him something he really wants, and that by justifying attack, he is protecting himself. To whatever extent he comes to realize that this is an error, to that extent is he truly saved. Wow, we're being saved from our own anger, from our own justification to use attack. And that attack has some kind of power in our life. Even, thinking that attack from somewhere else can affect the Holy Son of God, it's not a reality. Now, if you think you're a body and you are trying to preserve only the body, and that's who you think you are, well, then you're going to be pushed around by other people's behavior and thoughts and words. But that isn't your reality. And we need to learn to let those things roll off us like water off a duck's back. Those last 2 sentences again in that first paragraph. So psychotherapy's whole function in the end is to help the patient deal with one fundamental error, the belief that anger brings him something he really wants, and that by justifying attack, he is protecting himself. To whatever extent he comes to realize that this is an error, to that extent is he truly saved. Paragraph 2. Patients do not enter the therapeutic relationship with this goal in mind. On the contrary, such concepts mean little to them, or they would not need help. Their aim is to be able to retain their self-concept exactly as it is, but without the suffering that it entails. Their whole equilibrium rests on the insane belief that this is possible. And because to the sane mind it is so clearly impossible, what they seek is magic. In illusions, the impossible is easily accomplished, but only at the cost of making illusions true. The patient has already paid this price. Now he wants a better illusion. Of course, he doesn't think of it as an illusion. Paragraph 3. At the beginning, then, the patient's goal and the therapist's are at variance. The therapist, as well as the patient, may cherish false concepts, but their respective perceptions of improvement still must differ. The patient hopes to learn how to get the changes he wants without changing his self-concept to any significant extent. He hopes, in fact, to stabilize it sufficiently to include within it the magical powers he seeks in psychotherapy. He wants to make the vulnerable invulnerable and the finite limitless. The self he sees is his God, and he seeks only to serve it better. Oh my, our deluded minds. Paragraph 4. Regardless how sincere the therapist himself may be, he must want to change the patient's self-concept in some way that he believes is real. The task of therapy is one of reconciling these differences. Hopefully, both will learn to give up their original goals, for it is only in relationships that salvation can be found. At the beginning, it is inevitable that patients and therapists alike accept unrealistic goals not completely free of magical overtones. They are finally given up in the minds of both. And then number 1, the limits on psychotherapy. Yet the ideal outcome is rarely achieved. Therapy begins with the realization that healing is of the mind, and in psychotherapy, those have come together who already believe this. It may be they will not get much further, for no one learns beyond his own readiness. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Well, you must be ready for what I've got, because you're appearing right here and we're working together. And you can be my teacher if you'll send me a note. You know, I've got my email address in the description below. And I'd love to know how you're learning and what you're I love to have stories to tell about what my friends on this path are learning and where they're going. It may be they will not get much further, for no one learns beyond his own readiness. Yet levels of readiness change, and when therapist or patient has reached the next one, there will be a relationship held out to them that meets the changing need. Perhaps they will come together again and advance in the same relationship, making it holier. Or perhaps each of them will enter into another commitment. Be assured of this, each will progress. Retrogression is temporary. The overall direction is one of progress toward the truth. Paragraph 2. Psychotherapy itself cannot be creative. This is one of the errors which the ego fosters, that it is capable of true change and therefore of true creativity. When we speak of the saving illusion or the final dream, this is not what we mean. But here is the ego's last defense. Resistance is its way of looking at things, its interpretation of progress and growth. These interpretations will be wrong of necessity because they are delusional. The changes the ego seeks to make are not really changes. They are but deeper shadows or perhaps different cloud patterns. Yet what is made of nothingness cannot be called new or different. Illusions are illusions. Truth is true. Truth is truth. Paragraph 3. Resistance as defined here can be characteristic of a therapist as well as of a patient. Either way, it sets a limit on psychotherapy because it restricts its aim. Nor can the Holy Spirit fight against the intrusions of the ego on the therapeutic process. But he will wait, and his patience is infinite. Isn't that nice? No, the Holy Spirit will wait, and his patience is infinite. But he will wait, and his patience is infinite. His goal is wholly undivided always. Whatever resolutions patient and therapist reach in connection with their own divergent goals, they cannot become completely reconciled as one until they join with the Holy Spirit's purpose. Only then is all conflict over, for only then can there be certainty. And the last paragraph, 4. Ideally, psychotherapy is a series of holy encounters in which brothers meet to bless each other and to receive the peace of God. And this will one day come to pass for every, in quotes, patient on the face of the earth. For who except a patient could possibly have come here? We're all patients if we believe we're living on planet Earth. This is the hospital for those who forgot who they are. The therapist is only a somewhat more specialized teacher of God. He learns through teaching, and the more advanced he is, the more he teaches, and the more he learns. But whatever stage he is in, there is a patient who needs him just that way. Be alert to those people around you that need you just the way you are. They cannot take more than he can give for now, yet both will find sanity at last. Now, what a beautiful way of looking at life. Okay, well, let's see, where are we at? I choose to see my brother's sinlessness. I choose to see my brother's sinlessness. Now, I'm hoping that when I'm playing my guitar, the cats don't jump up in my lap. If they do, I'll try to move them with the neck of my guitar. But we're not quite ready to sing. What's holidays around the world? It's Advent continues for many Christians. Gita Jayanti still continues for the Hindus. Antarctica Day. Bifocals at the Monitor, Liberation Day. Cider Monday, or Eat a Red Apple Day, Malus Domestica. Make some cider out of your apples. Civil Air Patrol Birthday, Day Without Art Day. The word out is in parentheses. I'm not sure why. Anyway, Day with Art Day or Day Without Art Day. Christmas Lights Day. Guess it's time to put up some winter lights, we used to call them. We didn't celebrate Christmas when kids were growing up, so we thought that was kind of a pagan holiday. I've kind of lightened up that a lot. I'm good with whatever holiday anybody wants to practice. I'd like to look beyond the form and see that initially and deep inside they're just trying to be happy, trying to fulfill what they think God wants them to do, or trying to be better people, having a better family. Whether it's Hindu, Christian, Islamic, you name it. Pie Day. Had a pie yesterday for my birthday that my new be my daughter-in-law, granddaughter-in-law, Claudia, married to Xander, made an apple pie. They put some candle on and had me blow it out. Rosa Parks Day. Well, we all want to stand up for what is right. Always stand on the side of truth. Walt Disney Day. Wear a Dress Day. Probably not if you're a guy, but some guys like to wear dresses. Nothing wrong with that, I guess. I know there's not. You might. Anyway, Wear a Dress Day and World AIDS Day, and Burpees Golden Beet, which is a Beta vulgaris, and even though it's a Burpees Golden Beet, we're reading about it in Seed Savers Exchange, and we're going through a lot of plants and beets are a good one you can make greens out of. Burpees Golden, a standout beet offering both excellent roots and sweet, flavorful, edible greens that are ideal for sautéing. Introduced in 1970 by Burpee Seed Company, it has orange globe-shaped roots that turn golden yellow when cooked, are tender and mild flavor even when large, and will not bleed like red beets. 50 to 55 days, 1,600 seeds to the ounce. Okay, well, there we go. I think we're ready. And cats are all around me, and my dog, and we're all here in the bamboo with me. Anyway, our word for peace, we're going to take it from the Old Norse. The Old Norse. I didn't realize the Old Norse people were all the way down into Great Britain, the British Isle, the northern part of it mainly, but Iceland, all the Scandinavian countries had that Old Norse. Anyway, it's Fridr. Fridr be with you for peace. Fridr. I choose to see my brother's sinlessness. I choose to see my brother's sinlessness. Forgiveness is a choice. Forgiveness is a choice. I choose to see my brother's sinlessness. Forgiveness is a choice. Forgiveness is a choice. I never see my brother as he is, for that is far beyond perception. What I see in him is merely what I wish to see, because it stands for what I want to be the truth. It is to this alone that I respond. However much I seem to be impelled by outside happenings, I choose to see what I would look upon, and this I see. I choose to see what I would look upon, and this I see, and only this. My brother's sinlessness shows me that I would look upon my own. My brother's sinlessness shows me that I would look upon my own. My brother's sinlessness shows me that I would look upon my own. My brother's sinlessness shows me that I would look upon my own sinlessness, and I will see it, having chosen to behold my brother in its holy light. And I will see it, having chosen to behold my brother in its holy light. My brother's sinlessness shows me that I would look upon my own, and I will see it, having chosen to behold my brother in its holy light. I choose to see my brother's sinlessness. I choose to see my brother's sinlessness. What could restore your memory to me except to see my brother's sinlessness? What could restore your memory to me except to see your brother's sinlessness? What a wonderful prayer. What could restore your memory to me except to see my brother's sinlessness? His holiness reminds me that he was created one with me. His holiness reminds me that he was created one with me and like myself. In him I find myself, and in your Son I find the memory of you as well. In him I find myself, and in your Son I find the memory of you as well. I choose to see my brother's sinlessness. 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 Forgiveness is a choice. I choose to see my brother's sinlessness. I choose to see my brother's sinlessness. And before we close, let me just say one more time, invite your friends. We'll start again on Lesson 1 on January the 1st, and have them join along. And until then, until tomorrow, we're going to keep going. Well, I will see you on January 1st, but tomorrow we'll continue on what we're doing. We're ready for Lesson 336 tomorrow. But today, I choose to see my brother's sinlessness. And from the Old Norse, Fridr. Peace be with you, Fridr. I choose to see my brother's sinlessness. Fridr.